as always. All right. Hi, everybody. Baiming Liu, Pro 8 for LifeVantage. And I'm very honored to be able to invite our newest Pro 10, who is also my role model and my great leader. And I know everybody already familiar with this, who Amy Holmwood. I will just to save my time to get into the interview, meet part of it. All right. So today I actually, in my note, my focus would be on 3 questions. Okay. So I can say 1 question at a time, or Amy, you want to say 3 questions?
No, go ahead. Yeah, you can ask me questions, and you might want to mute people out too, and I can.
Oh yeah.
So we can.
Okay.
A little background noise.
Okay.
I can unmute myself.
Mute all. Okay. Mute all, and Amy, you were open.
Okay.
So I have just basic ideas. Okay. So everybody, if you can listen, and I have proposed 3 questions. In case we have more time, you can say some other questions. You can type here and then let me know. So it depends on the time. Okay. So I will focus on the 3 questions for Amy Holmwood. Okay. So what do you have done to achieve Pro 10? All right. And the second question, I'm going to just move along, okay? And
sure.
Then just, save time. What qualities or skills that you didn't have before LifeVantage, and then you developed or acquired that contribute to your success as Pro 10? Question 2, okay? And then tell us what are the 3 major or important things that you have to do or you do daily over the LifeVantage journey, or you think that contribute to your success. So that's 3 main questions. And then
yes,
and we'll have contribute, maybe focus on 5 minutes, 10 minutes about, because everybody knows Amy Holmwood is a guru for the Chinese market, right? So we would love to hear about her vision on the opening Chinese market. All right. So, okay, Amy Holmwood, your floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Baiming. And thank you for being such a consistent leader. And I think that is one of the characteristics of the skills that a person would need to have to get to this rank. But for me, it was I had an opportunity to get, so just so you guys know, over the history of my 7 years with LifeVantage, we've had tremendous success in our team, and it's thanks to Baiming, some of your leadership and your upline, Shelley, Zhang, and Claire, and we had a lot of people when we got started together. Maybe about 5 years ago, we had a platform that we had a little bit more flexibility to grow our businesses more quickly. And then we were put into a holding pattern for a few years there when we had the new executive team come in, and really they stopped our business. So I just want to thank you for hanging in there and seeing the long-term vision. And I think that is really what helped me get to Pro 10, was just having that vision of how big this business is. And when you think about other businesses and how long they take to take off, the ones that are really, really going to stay for the long term, they don't usually take off immediately. Okay. They have an idea, they pioneered something, and then they had to get acceptance of that product because it was something completely new that would change the way we lived our life. And that is how I see LifeVantage. So over this 7-year period, I've had my business be way over $1 million a month. I still didn't hit Pro 7 because I wasn't balanced in my business. We have to have at least 3 teams. And you always, from the beginning, you should always think about no more than 40% from one, no more than 40% from another, and then 20% or more from the rest. You don't just have to have 3, you can have more. But if you just focus on one group and you never go out and try to find more, you always have to be recruiting. So that was something that I always did, was always thinking about who that next leader was going to be that would come into the business. And just having that intention of knowing that there are people out there, they will seek you out. So I have had that happen a couple of times. And most recently, I had a team seek me out from Toronto. And I was curious as to how these people found me. And they found me on YouTube and by Googling China LifeVantage, because they learned about Protandim from a doctor in China and they wanted to know more about it. So they were Googling and they found me and all my videos. Okay. And then I have a China business. So one thing I'll say to you guys is you want to find your niche and start to create that platform for yourself as a leader in that niche, whatever that is, whether it could be, you know, you're a dog trainer, or you're a, you know, whatever the thing is that you're into. Find that niche and then start to focus on that and record and put stuff online, because that is going to make a big impact. This is how I was able to find my newest group. And they're a very serious team, and they've been successful in the industry of network marketing, and they really appreciate the value of our products and how important they are for the whole world to be knowledgeable about, specifically China. And so when we open the China market, where I now have 3 different teams in the China market on my front line, you guys, that's a big deal. So when you think about how big your vision is and where you see yourself in business, you have to see yourself already there to stay the course. Because if you question that, there's so many reasons why you can quit. We've had so many reasons, you guys, to quit, right? Baiming?
Yes.
How many? So many problems with the company and people getting, you know, just disappointed over and over again. But the one thing that I will say is, if you have leaders that you have in your team that have that vision, they know how big, they don't want to let it go. They're going to stay with it and just figure out how to at least keep some momentum in their business. And that is very important. And that's that consistency. So to have that consistency. So every day, so I'm going to go to the last question, is what are the things that you do every day? One is to every day work on your business. Never stop thinking about your business. It's your business. You have your own business. This isn't something somebody else is going to build for you. No one's going to do this for you. So it's just like you have a store, and if you never open the door and turn the lights on, nobody's going to buy anything. So you always have to have in mind about your business and always be sensing that there might be an opportunity that's going to come your way. So that's the one thing every single day. I'm always working on my business. Absolutely always calling every day somebody to talk about this business. So I always try to do some kind of an exposure or make some kind of a connection. Because if we're not exposing and always recruiting, your business is not going to, your leaders under you will not duplicate the right behavior because you're not growing your business. So you always want to set the pace for your team, always be exposing, always doing personal growth, something every day for your health. Do something that makes you feel good, that makes you happy, whether it's, meditation or whatever your fitness thing. For me, I do try to do something to keep my head clear, whether it's getting outside, just taking a walk, doing something that I know for me, I need that. For me, I can't, I'm not healthy unless I do something. So for me, that's part of my business. And I have my headset on and I'm listening to some motivational or some podcast or something that's going to help me to grow my business. And then the third thing that I do is that I always reach out to someone in my team. I don't always talk to them every day, but I'm always supporting somebody. So I always want to stay plugged in and make sure that people know I'm available to help them build their business, because we are doing this as a team. Even though this is your business and you're the one who's setting the pace for your business, you always want to reach out to your team and you want to work with your team and let them know you're available to help them if they need you. And also to be able to do third-party validation, because I really encourage that in my groups, that I think it's really important to have third-party validation. And we have so much of that now through our videos, like our NASDAQ video, all the materials and the stuff that we have available to share is great, but it's also good for, if you're exposing to people. I have a lot of people who say, oh, I don't really like doing third-party calls. I'd rather just do it myself. It's so much easier. I really think that's a mistake. So I really encourage you guys to always use that. that method. So I'm going to go back to the second question, which was, what are the things I've learned in being in this business that have made me more successful? And I'm always telling my husband, you know, I was in the financial advisory business and I always had to do continuing education and motivational training and sales training. Like, the insurance industry is really good at that. But I have to say that the network marketing and the LifeVantage training and being at the elite academies, which is something that I just returned from, being surrounded by people who are always going through personal growth, I have had better training in business in this company than I've ever had in any other company, that any other business I've done, anywhere I've ever worked. I mean, I've been working since I was 14. I've had more training at this business for life, friendships, making commitments, sticking to your word, having a long-term vision for your life that is all about helping other people to get what they want so you can get what you want. I never had that before. So to me, first of all, the marketing that we do, so you got to put yourself out there every day. Like, a lot of people don't ever have to do that. I think for personal growth, that's the best thing. The best thing you can do is put yourself out there and have to be courageous. Every single day, do something that scares you. Talk to somebody that makes you nervous. You get those butterflies in your stomach. You have an instinct. You want to talk to somebody, go over and talk to them. And you can even just say, you know, I had an instinct that I should come and talk to you. I'm not really sure why, but, you know, I thought that do you have 5 minutes? I can sit down and talk to you. Always be doing something that requires you to step into your, you know, have courage. And I will say that the Chinese people seem to be a little bit more courageous than Americans for some reason. When it comes to business, when it comes to talking to people, maybe because there's so many people and everybody lives so close together that everybody's comfortable talking to people. We've gotten away from that a little bit in the United States. So I think this is something I've learned. And there was a question, have I learned Chinese? The answer is no, I don't speak Chinese. I just saw that question. Although now I really do feel like I need to start to learn Chinese. So this is a goal. Okay. I can listen and I can understand a lot of Chinese, but I haven't taken the time to do that. And now I am going to do that. And I made a decision for 2020 that I'm at least going to be able to give a little bit of my presentation in Chinese. So, but within like 6 months, I'll be doing that, and you'll be seeing a little bit of that, you know, just maybe just how to say, you know, the first couple sentences, that kind of thing. But the Chinese people, being in an international business and working with the Chinese, has taught me things I never would have learned. And the one thing is that community building of celebrating while you're working. The celebration part of having fun and just working together and making it fun while you work is really a gift. And I want to thank you guys for that, because I've never had more fun working in my life than when I work with my Chinese teams. We just always have a great time. We're eating, we're celebrating, we're always celebrating people. And, you know, we appreciate what everybody's doing because we know how hard everybody's working. Everybody's doing their part. Everybody's willing to contribute. This is a business where we all have to contribute something for everyone to get what they want. There's no shortcuts in this. So it's like you're putting a football team together, and when somebody's not doing their part, they're not going to be able to be on the team for very long, right? Everybody has to hold their weight. And so there's an expectation of that. And I think the more expectation, the higher the expectation you have of the people that you're going to be working with, the better off that you're going to be in your business, because you want people to be as committed as you are. Otherwise, you are wasting time working with somebody that's not going to have the same standard as you. So this is something that is really important if you want to get to the elite ranks in the company. It's so easy to waste time on things that aren't going to be effective in building your business. We can get caught up in research. We can get caught up in, you know, social media and all these things that are time wasters. The most important thing to do is to find people who have the same work ethic that you have. And if you don't have the work ethic, then you have to make a decision. If if you really want this to work or not, because otherwise you are also wasting your time. If you don't have the work ethic to put into this, then just decide how you want this to be. If you just want this to be a community that you get to spend time with and just like a little hobby to hang out, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that you don't waste somebody else's time that wants to be successful. So I do think that there's like an integrity factor, you know, that I've learned a lot, not to waste somebody else's time, because people really are committing a lot of their time to this. They're taking time away from their family. They're not spending as much time with their children. They're spending money to build this business, traveling, going to the academies, you know. Don't waste people's time. When your upline is working so hard and you're just wasting their time, I really think that you have to that lacks integrity. So I really, I think it's important to talk about that. I have learned that for sure. Is one of the things I've learned in this business is to expect a lot from people and to ask for help, because help is there. Don't try to do this all by yourself. Have your vision, set the pace for your business, but ask people for help. And it doesn't have to be your upline. You can build a community around other people in your area or people that you've met at some of the events, which is one of the reasons why it's so important to go to the events, to go to the elite academies and the trainings, because that's where you're going to meet other people who can help you grow your business, and you can help them grow their business by connecting and being a resource for that person. So, I mean, everything is laid out, you guys, for success. And when you look at challenges and obstacles, which are always going to be there in any business, the more obstacles you have to overcome, the more big the opportunity is. If you don't have challenges and obstacles, you don't have that big of an opportunity. If something is easy and smooth and it just goes really easily and fast, it's probably not going to last very long. And when you think about like anything that's disrupted or changed the way that we live our life, it's always going to take huge obstacles that we have to get through. And whether it's with technology, whether it's, you know, pharmaceutical, whether it's, you know, the way that cars are now changing, or whether just everything, there's always problems with the companies. So when you have problems, as long as there's a team to fix the problem, this is what you want to pay attention to. And I'm saying this because in our China group, we have had a lot of challenges. And I don't even want to go down the road because many of you on here aren't from those groups. But so if you're thinking about building an international business, just get ready to become a problem solver, because the most successful people in business they don't care if there's a problem. They just want to be able to solve that problem, and they're going to be really good at it. So these are the people that you want to attract into your business. Or people know how to solve problems and aren't going to just whine and quit because there was a problem. We're going to overcome that problem. We have so much to look forward to with this company. I have never seen any problem that was insurmountable that we haven't been able to overcome. So I like that part of business. I actually like solving problems and figuring out like how to do that. That's like something that I think is very interesting and exciting. You know, it's also very rewarding when you have an issue and then you fix it. You know, it's something I enjoy. I'm glad that I enjoy that because I've had to do quite a bit of that. So yeah, Baiming, you know, if you want to open up for questions, you know, I don't know what, you know, how if you have any other questions for me, or maybe I need to be more specific for you.
Oh, this is great. This is great. And I just add one more question. See, okay, this is a difficult one. Are you ready?
Yes. Yes.
So Amy, you seems like a never nonstop, you know, no matter how hard you always go forward and you're always positive thing. Have you ever in your journey that you really, really down, and then how you overcome with it? Give us some example, maybe one example, because we never thought about you're really down or you really, you're always positive, you know.
Yeah.
A human being, right? We all have ups, downs, and things like that. So a lot of people will just say facing more difficulties. I would love to ask you this question because a lot of people can feel for it and then relate it to this.
Sure. Of course, I have had many days of disappointment. But it's everything's mindset. So when you make a decision about what you are going to accomplish, when you set out to join this company and you made a decision that this was going to be a success, anytime there's a disappointment, you always are going to say, okay, now what do I have to do to overcome that? Okay, you're not going to sit there and you're not going to let it stop you from getting to your goal. And the reason I really believe with this, that I've never been depressed about LifeVantage. The only part that's been difficult for me is when maybe I have someone that was supposed to join and they didn't, right? You were excited because somebody said they were going to do it and then they didn't. That doesn't bother me anymore because there's so many people out there that need to know about this. I want to talk a little bit about the products, and that's one of the reasons why I don't get depressed about the business. I believe at the core of my being and all the research that I've done that we have the best product in the entire world for human health. And when you look at the total market capacity for our products, it's unlimited. Everybody needs to use this type of product. Now, right now, we have the NRF2, NRF2, which we've had out since 2004. The world still does not know enough about NRF2 yet. Okay, they just don't know enough about it. There aren't enough companies talking about this yet because we don't have a lot of competition. So we still have a product that we have to educate people about. So it's going to be slow. It's not going to be as fast as we want. The second, the NRF1, that's a newer product. We have the same battle. Nobody knows about NRF1 and how important changing the expression of your protein inside your mitochondria, which is like the energy powerhouse. It runs your heart, it runs your brain. Without that, diabetes, all these other diseases are going to start to get triggered. So we have something everyone on the planet needs to take. Okay, now we have the NAD, which when you add that on to the NRF1 and the NRF2, it makes that work so much better than it did by itself. So now everybody that studies the NAD, we have a whole market now. There's a lot of other companies promoting NAD, big companies from Harvard and MIT that are promoting the NAD type of a supplement. But once they learn about what we have with the NAD and that you add it to the NRF1 and the NRF2, and it makes it like 1,700% more powerful at turning back cell aging inside the body. Nobody's going to be able to compete with that because they don't have those other products yet. And for them to come out with product and go and get 31 published studies on why it's important for NRF2 activation in the body, they're never going to be able to get that because that was a time in history that will never happen again. When you have Dr. McCord, who started this, okay, talking about it and doing research, you can't make that up over again. It happened, and we were lucky that the company failed in retail, and now it went into network marketing because there's the only way to move this type of product is by person-to-person education. So, and we haven't even scratched the surface of sharing this information with the rest of the world. I mean, if we're doing, I know we do a certain amount of business there's a few Chinese teams in LifeVantage. Let's say between all of us, we're doing, $1.5 million a month. Let's just say for fun. All right. Out of the 250 million in sales. So that's like, let's say we're doing 15 million. We should be doing 15 million a month. Okay, in China, not a year. So when I get disappointed, it lasts about 5 minutes because I know that we are going to have the biggest product in China, period. End of story. So I know with all the way down to my feet, okay, that this thing is going to be huge. And so that is why I don't care when I'm upset or sad. I see the future and I say, as long as we don't quit, as long as we don't screw this thing up, okay, as long as we're in charge of our destiny and we have the leadership to get the company to do what we need to get them to do, and they listen to us, which, by the way, we have that. The company's listening. They want to do a great job for us. They're ready for everyone to get involved. They're ready for all of us to be hugely successful. And so I just want you guys to have a big enough vision that it doesn't matter what the obstacles are. We have something that will make us so proud when we get to our goals of being successful in Asia and then moving to other countries like India, just as an example. So I am very passionate about already to start laying the groundwork for opening in India, because then that is the second biggest population in the world. And they already like supplementation, just like the Chinese. So anyone out there who has any connections with India, doctors, PhDs, start making those connections today so we can start to lay the foundation for the road to India. So we can go right from China, huge, Singapore, Malaysia, India. It's going to get us right over there. And we can all participate in that, because I know a lot of us on here have connections through PhDs and things like that with science. Okay. And I know the Chinese work with a lot of the Indian. And so this is why I don't get depressed. Okay.
Great, wonderful, wonderful. Since you mentioned the Chinese market, I think this is the time for us to talk about the specifically your vision about the Chinese market, especially right now, the Wuhan Corona situation, right?
Yes, this is a problem. This is like the worst timing that we could ever imagine. And again, an obstacle, right? So we're supposed to open our China market the beginning of March. That's not going to happen. I don't see how that's going to happen. So now what we have to do is we have to figure out a way that at least our China customers can get product. We are working on that now to make sure that while this is going on, that those people can get access to the products. Because more than anything right now, Baiming, is that the Nerf2 Protandim is so important for supporting the immune system to make sure that you don't get sick. NRF2 upregulates glutathione. Glutathione detoxifies the body. It's the master detoxifier. So between all the chemicals, all the medicine, the spraying, and all the stuff that's going on, everybody needs to be taking Protandim Nerf2 in China while we're going through this. So I actually believe that there is a positive, even though this is horrible. I do, and I feel so bad, and I'm praying for everybody over there. But I do believe that this will help us get exposure more to the Protandim and have more people want to use it, so they can avoid this type of thing from happening. So that's, I mean, I'm optimistic that, this will get under control over the next 60 days. I'm praying. It's caused a lot of problems. I think somebody just needs to mute their line. But the China market, you guys, it's a different business model. We can't do network marketing in China. It's not the same. We can have a 2-level comp plan. So we are going to need to be creative and teach people the best way to set up their business to be able to have revenue enough to make people excited about doing business with us, because they can only get paid 2 levels down in China. So we have a China VIP customer, we have a China social marketer, and then we have the enroller who's going to sign up that person. So a lot of people are going to have the ability, if they're Chinese and they have also US or Australia, or they have another passport and a China ID, they may be able to take both those positions. as the enroller and the social marketer. So they'll be able to make more money that way. And the company knows that. And that's a strategy that a lot of people are going to use. I'm not going to go into the details of the compensation plan right now, but everybody is going to be able to make some money on this. And I do believe that it's going to be something where more and more people can participate. Once we get this going and we really learn how it works, we'll be able to recruit a lot more people, because we need to see how effective it is and how the compensation plan works the best, so that we can help teach our leaders how to do this. It's not going to happen overnight, you guys. We have to work together. We have to figure this out. And if the compensation plan isn't driving the right behavior, we're going to need to talk to the company and get them to figure out a way to make it better, because it's really important. This is a big factor in every market, is our compensation plan. But right now we think we have
Hello, Amy. Are you there? Me lost. All right. So there's some technical problems, but I think that we are pretty much got all the 3 or 4 questions answered by Amy.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Somebody tried to call me.
Oh, okay.
And then okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, okay. I think that Amy, you're done with the vision.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah.
So I think that I'm going to stop the recording, and thank you, Amy Holmwood, so much for all the information and your experience and your vision about Chinese market and pretty much everything. So I'm going to stop recording and open the floor for people ask questions. How's that?